For me, an ideal holiday oops. Oh, okay. Hold on. Since we're recording, I'm just going to go back really quickly, backtrack for a second. No, it's okay. Don't worry, Trisha. I'm glad you noticed it. So welcome to the workshop part of this presentation. I'm Christina Ballareso. We're just going to kick it off with first talking about the holiday season and what you really want that to look like for you. So what would your ideal holiday season look like health-wise if stress, time, money, overwhelm, sacrifice, effort were not a factor? I want you to just visualize what that would look like for you on a day-to-day basis. And how would it feel? What are the feelings you would feel? How would it affect your family if you were feeling as good as you wanted to feel? For me, just being able to kind of go through the holidays and not feel like I'm completely just throwing my health out the window is something that has been a game changer for me over the years. I used to really think that I couldn't enjoy the holidays unless I was going like all in on treats and food and all that kind of stuff and not working out. Turns out that we can have both, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But I would love to hear in the chat. I'm going to pull it up here so I can share with you guys. Let's see, what is everyone saying here? Energy to take the kids for outdoor activities, tobogganing, snowboarding, late nights for different holiday events, waking up without a fuzzy brain. Yes, that is huge for me too. Ready to rock my day. Excitement to do the fun stuff, not the dread of another thing on my plate. Yep. Realizing I can do what I want for food, and if others don't like it, it's on them. Yeah, that's a big one. Calm and energy to enjoy the days instead of tension in my body and mental fog. Stay on track with nutrition and keep my workout routine. Bringing my weights with me or using workouts that don't need weights while I'm traveling. That's a great one, Beth. I love that. So we're starting to create that vision in our head, right? So if we don't have a vision of what we're actually working towards or what's important to us, we're going to miss the mark 100% of the time because we have no idea what we even want that routine to look like or want our holidays to look like. And then we just kind of wake up in this reactionary state of like, well, whatever happens, happens, you know? And if you want something to look a certain way, we have to have a plan to get there. We have to be able to create that reality for us. Giving myself grace to enjoy the season and balancing with my regular routine. That's awesome. Stay on track with portions and eating right. I am not cooking for Thanksgiving. It doesn't bring me joy. I love that so much. Like, how awesome is it when we can just recognize when we don't want to do something and not do it? Like, that is so great. And we can start making decisions like that. Connecting and doing a puzzle with family instead of cooking. So awesome, Mary Beth. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. So we have that vision in our head. We're going to move on to the next slide here. So we know what we want. What do we not want? What are the things that we do not want this holiday season? Share it in the chat. Could be the opposite of what you were saying here. For me, it is that I don't want those spikes in blood sugar. There's nothing that makes me feel more terrible than just coming off of that like sugar high where I just feel like I cannot even think. I just want to lay on the couch, which I can't do because I have a 1-year-old running around. Feeling sick to my stomach from eating way too much food. Overindulged to the point where I feel so sick and gross and guilty. Yes, don't want to feel stressed, guilt, because I recognize and know I will overeat dessert. Don't want to feel isolated, overwhelmed from too much on my plate, which usually means crappy food and no time for workouts. Eating horribly, losing my routine, and feeling awful physically and mentally. Yeah. And just by a show of hands too, like how many people feel like they don't have a choice? Like you can just be totally honest, because I for a long time felt like I didn't have a choice and that the holidays are just a season where like I have to feel like crap because we just have to like go through that season, right? I want to tell you guys, we don't have to. We don't have to feel that way. And that doesn't mean that we have to isolate ourselves and like not go to any parties either. There's a way to do both. And that's what we're really excited to talk to you guys about. Crap is for the birds. Yep. I used to feel like I didn't have a choice, using family or busy schedule as an excuse to not get movement in. And I don't want to go back on heavy drinking and eating, cookies, overwhelm. Awesome, you guys. This is great. So I really hope that you're writing these answers down for yourself, because if we just do these activities and then like the notebook gets thrown in a drawer later, like we're going to forget. Out of sight, out of mind. The holidays are super busy. Keep these answers in front of you, and we're going to help you with some tips as we move into the rest of our workshop here. So what is the all or nothing mentality or mindset? Do you struggle with this? Do you feel like everything is black and white? Do you struggle to have like any gray area in your life? Not just when it comes to like health and wellness, but like maybe in your life in general, this is something that you tend to notice about yourself. Are you either all in or all out? Show of hands, or you can say in the chat if you feel like that's something that you struggle with. Sometimes people will also call this like the perfectionist mentality. Like if you can't do it perfectly, then you'd rather not do it at all. Just like, you know, if you think about it, it's like, really? It's never going to be perfect. So we don't do anything ever. And that's not good, right? Okay. So a lot of you guys are resonating with this. You might not have ever have looked up what the all or nothing mindset actually is, but it really is this idea of thinking in extremes. So you're either a success or you're a failure. You know, you either did it or you didn't. Your performance is totally good or totally bad. Like, how often do we use that language around our food? Oh, I ate good today. Like, what does that even mean? You know, like we can have this gray area of enjoying treats, but also having some nourishing meals along the way. The all or nothing mentality really just shovels on that like guilt and shame and all that stuff that we said in the chat we don't want, especially over the holiday season. It also tells us that if you're not perfect, then you're a disaster. And we're here to tell you that that's not true. Like there's a better way. We can do the holidays in a better way. So I'm going to hand it over to Trisha, and she's going to take over from here.
Okay, so I love the slideshow, but I can only see 4 people. So then that's a bummer. So I'm gonna stop the screen share personally, because I love being able to see your guys' faces and see like, is this hitting home for you guys? Are you like, yep, this is me? Because the chat thread's cool, but like, I don't know, there's a lot when it comes to like body language and seeing like, oh shit, she's talking to me, because that happens sometimes. And what we want to talk about is, like Christina said, like it's hard because it's been taught to us, right? Like society has put all of these ideas in our head around what a healthy routine should or should not look like. Should is a really big trigger word, by the way. As we go through this, I want you guys to kind of look for, do I use that word when I'm talking about my workouts or my nutrition? Because even when we say I should work out, like that's the all or nothing mentality. Like that's a sign that that's where you're going. And it's not our fault, because we literally, like at our fingertips, we can open up our phone and we see like hundreds of social media influencers, and the algorithm does this wonderful job of putting, like, if you follow a couple fitness accounts like your coach, it's going to flood your feed with more fitness accounts. And we're subject to seeing people that like hit the gym 7 days a week. They're always burning 500 calories. They're always pushing for that. Like, I don't have an Apple Watch, but I think it's the red ring is like the outside one, or they feel like their workout wasn't good enough, like it was shit. Or they're like nailing all of these like picture perfect Instagram meals, and they're counting calories. And like some people only eat vegetables and some people only eat meat. And like we see people talking about how like you have to be getting all this sleep. So then we feel like we have to give up like our life. So then obviously at the end of the day, we're going to feel like, well, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to go to the gym 7 days a week. It's 45-minute commute for me to hit the gym. It's like, I got to spend an hour while I'm there. I have to work really hard. And then like, if you have to go to work after, you're like, now I have to shower at the gym too. Like there are all these contributing factors to why we feel like we don't have time. And it's not even necessarily because we've sat down and looked at our own schedule. It's because we have like all of this outside influence that makes it look like this is everything that needs to go into it. Like there's no squeezing that into our day, right? And outside of that, like we also have money, right? Inflation, I don't think it matters where you live right now. Like inflation is insane. If you have a 45-minute commute to the gym, it means a lot of money in gas. Gas is expensive, so that's a deterrent. Or the cost of a gym membership, or even just the concept that like we're told the holidays are expensive. There's like this automatic narrative that the holidays are going to be an expensive time. And part of that is because of like ads and media and everything like that. But also like sometimes we do naturally just spend more money over the holidays. And I don't know about you guys, but like I grew up, I was always told you don't buy anything for yourself after Halloween. And part of that was because like it was the idea that, well, maybe somebody's going to buy that for you. And I'm like, nobody is buying me the $500 air fryer that I've been looking at Canadian Tire. Like, can I please just go buy it? But also it's almost this like this little subconscious thought that, well, if I buy something for myself, that's less for somebody else. And you almost start to think like, okay, well, if I do this, then like I can't donate to the food bank. Like we can look for places where it's like, that's selfish. So it's really hard for us to want to spend the money on the gym membership or buy the like one little workout outfit that we feel is going to be like the thing that gets us started. It can be really easy for us to be like, well, I don't have all of the money, so I'll just wait. Or then we have the idea too that like, is it even worth it? Like how many of us feel like, okay, well, I could nail my workouts, but I know that my nutrition is going to be like not on par. Like I can't possibly change my nutrition through the holidays. So is it even worth it for me to go and burn the 500 calories? Right? Or you feel like, well, I could dial in my nutrition. Like that's something that I kind of have a strong suit in, but you look at hockey tournaments on weekends, family vacation, like not vacation, I guess, because it's not vacation to go visit your family. We all know that. But you have these travel days, you have these days that are spent on the road in the airport. You're staying with your family members. Almost everybody's like crammed into a house and you're like, well, I can't get my workouts in. So then it's like, well, if I can't do both and I can't do them both perfectly, then we're wondering if our efforts are even worth it. And it's the thought that like, I'll just wait for January. January will be easier, right? There's not as many holidays. We're all kind of back home. Like January will be easier because we've just written off December as this like black hole of a month. And I think everybody's kind of familiar with like the most basic analogy that comes with the all or nothing mentality is like, well, you can't sprint for a marathon, but it goes deeper than that, right? Because it's not just that you logically know that you cannot sprint for 26 miles or whatever a marathon is. I'm never going to run one. Maybe I will, but like we know that you cannot do it. But say you register for the marathon. And when you register, you get this little email package that says like, okay, this is the date. This is what you need to be able to do. This is our recommended, like maybe it's a stellar marathon and they're like, here's our recommended workout program to prepare for it. And you're like, I can maybe do that. And then they're also recommending like shoes and like they give you all of the tools and resources, but you're like, I don't know if I can do this. So what do? We sign up for a marathon and we call our friend and we're like, you're going to do this with me, whether you like it or not. Like we all have a bestie that we know that we can call and be like, okay, we're going to do this hard thing, but I need you to do it with me. And it's great. You have like 6 months of training together and you can go all in on it. You do the checklist, you're doing everything with your friends. And then you get to the marathon and you still have this, like, it's a knee-jerk reaction to think that like, I need to go all in. I just went all in with my training and I did it for 6 months. I didn't miss a day. I did all of the training. Like I can do this. I can like, I'm going to, you don't always think like I'm going to win the marathon because there's like 10 people at every marathon that do like 100 a year and they do them just for funsies. And like, you know, you're not going to beat them. But you're like, I'll be top 10. Like, I'm just going to push. And you tell your friend and they look at you like a deer in the headlights because they're like, what on earth are you talking about? Like she's sensible and she knows that you have 26 miles to go, but you're just like, you're not in for it. So you start and you're going And when you have that mentality, like you don't even want to stop at the recharge stations. Like they always have spots where they have like, I did a bike, it's not a marathon, but I did like a bike thing this summer, and they have little like cookie stations with water and stuff. But if you're the person that's like, nope, I don't want to stop. No, if I stop, I lose my momentum. If I stop, it's harder to get going again. You skip the recharge station. And I think that a lot of us forget that, like, you might have been able to go like all in on your training program, but it's because it was like an hour a day. And then you still had like 3 meals after that and a full night of sleep. And it's just like, as soon as we get into that moment where we viewed something as like, I want to win, I want to do the best I can, I'm going to go all in. And we set this unreasonable pace. And after like 10 miles, your body and your bestie are begging you to walk. And we have one of two things that happens. You refuse and you go until your body literally shuts down. Like you roll an ankle. Your body will tell you when it is done. It will try to tell you, and if you ignore it, it will force you to do it, right? Or you slow down and you're walking and your friend is trying to just tell you like that you're doing great, like you're still like ahead of a ton of people, but in your head you're like, yeah, but I had to walk, so I failed. You feel like because you slowed down, it's going to be impossible to get going again. And before you've even tried to get going again, like you're already telling yourself, like, I'm just not going to do another marathon. I couldn't run the whole 26 miles nonstop. So like, what's the point of even trying again? And that's what happens with our health and wellness routines sometimes. We can see that like, well, I've done this really well in the past, so why can't I do this really well? I went all in with that. I should be able to go all in with this. And we forget that like our health and wellness journeys are supposed to be for life. It's literally the biggest marathon we have. And like maybe you're training for something like a marathon, literally, or maybe you're doing a competition and it is a little bit shorter term. But for the majority of us, we just want to live a healthier life. And we forget that to be able to do this long term, like we have to pace ourselves. We have to remember to take the downtime, and we have to be okay with slowing down. And we have to remember that it's a hell of a lot easier when you do it with somebody else, because we have a hard time setting our own pace. We think that we're doing okay until our body shuts us down. So sometimes we need that external influence to kind of remind us to slow our roll. And that's where Nicola's going to come in. And she's going to share a little bit with you guys about what we have going on. I will share a screen again because I think that you want the slideshow. Just have to find. Sorry, technology and I. Okay.
There we go. I want to talk. Okay, let's hop ahead 2 slides. Other way. Number 11. Okay, so our whole kind of plan is controlling the holiday chaos. So holidays can be overwhelming. They can just get in our heads again, exactly what we've heard so far, knocking us off course of where we want to be. So looking at the marathon idea, what type of support has helped you stay on track in the past? If you were to run a marathon, if you have run a marathon, what type of support is most important for you? A running buddy? People along the way cheering you with signs like, I don't know if there's a Nike half marathon I did, and there's like, you are a badass, run like your kids are chasing you. There's wine at the finish line, keep going. So sometimes it's people cheering you on, whether it's your family, whether it's your fit family, your running watch telling you you're hitting your goal times. I got an Apple Watch this year just to help me finish my circles because it just helps me move more on the days I don't have a cardio workout. So it's finding the tools that push you, fuel stations that offer great refueling options. As Trisha said, you have to refuel, but finding the fuel that makes you excited to refuel. And you can get really good quality, good nutrition tools that help you, that you're excited about. I don't know if you've ever had a Shakeology that you blended the perfect way with the perfect ingredients and you're like, oh, I can't wait to have my shake. It's finding the tools that make you want to show up every day, because that keeps you coming back. Why is it so hard to put ourselves first as mamas, wives, and even daughters? And Hector's on here too. So as husbands and men, especially during the holidays, why do we put our health and wellness so far down the priority list? So a key tool that helps a lot of women is the science of synergetic influence. Sounds so tricky. So alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Synergy is working together. It's putting things together that make things more effectual. Effectual, that's another big word. So what are some key things we need to create the synergy? Scheduling our workouts, scheduling things that are important. What are you doing? When are you doing it? And for how long? Knowing you have 20 minutes or 60 minutes, it helps you decide what you're going to do. You're not going to go and try and run 10 miles if you've got 20 minutes to work out. You might even do a cross training workout that's 20 minutes long that will benefit you in whatever else you're doing. But you can't, I mean, you only have so many hours in a day, so you have to plan what's going to work for you. It's going to help you feel successful. Planning the meals that you can control. Again, we have a lot of celebrations probably in the next 6+ weeks, but most of those days we can control. They're just like the rest of the year. We can eat healthy, make good choices those meals, and then enjoy the time we're celebrating. I love something we do a lot in all our groups is share recipes and tools and share things that keep us moving forward. I'm connecting with like-minded people, whether it's in your current group of friends, you're inviting your buddy to come run with you, to come work out with you, your husband, your spouse, have them work out with you. Sometimes we get our kids up and moving with us. Sometimes it's finding a fit family online, finding a group of people. We've got 4 people who are completely different teams. Actually, most of us, I don't think we'd ever met before a couple of months ago. Now we know each other online, but you find this group of people that you connect with and you meet up for some Saturday workouts, or you just check in with each other every day and say, hey, how are you doing? I got my workout in, did you? And then the days you can't get going, you reach out to them. So you focus on showing up for yourself. You're never alone, even when your family isn't on board, if you have that system. So sometimes your spouse is like, no, just come sit on the couch with me and watch a show. You don't need to work out today. But if you know you have people relying on you, you might be more likely to get it done. Sharing your goals with your family, with that group of people. So people help you work towards them and don't unintentionally sabotage you. Your coworkers that bring those cookies every day. Maybe they can move them to the other side of the office. Maybe they can bring a healthier option. Maybe you can bring a healthier option and kind of show them, hey, we can enjoy this for our group meeting today, for our celebration. Be the person that brings the veggie tray. Most people actually like it. They like the option. And daily check-ins with those people and figure out what you need to stay focused. Sometimes it's not just checking a box on a piece of paper or in a group. Sometimes it's having someone in a message pod that you check in with, but you have to find what helps you. We have so many tools that we share with our crew, but you got to find what's the most effectual for you and share that too. So it's time to lose the all or nothing and hone in on what's important and what you need to prioritize with your time. So there's so many messages, so many thoughts in here on that. But yeah, finding what you need is so key. So I am going to pass it. I think I'm passing it back to Trisha.
I think other Trisha.
Okay.
No, it is me. It gets confusing when we're talking about all the Trishas. What slide are we on? Okay, so what I want to share with you guys, and I will leave the slideshow up for this because this one is a little bit more important to kind of just share exactly what we're doing. So most of you, I think, in here are current clients of us, but there are a couple of people that are not. And we want to be able to kind of show you guys a little bit about, I will need you. Yes, I will remember to unmute you this time for sure. What I want to share with you guys is what we offer, because it's difficult on social media, right? Like sometimes we're mindlessly scrolling, we kind of see the story, but we tap past it. But I want to be able to really drive home with you guys today, like the impact that our communities can make, because like Nicholas said, like it's a science. Creating that environment that's actually supportive and collaborative, it makes a very big difference on how people want to show up. Because when you feel like for a lot of people, you need that recognition, right? You need somebody to see you showing up and to recognize that that's there, because we don't always recognize it ourselves. We don't always have somebody in our house that is recognizing that effort. So creating that community, even though we're 4 different coaches from 4 different teams, we've collaborated because we all value this like very, very deeply. So you get that community support. We all run groups, we have chat threads, we have like the DMs that we can stay in touch with you guys, which is like the biggest thing. I think honestly, if nothing else came of this, like that's it's worth its weight in gold. But on top of that, when you join our Control the Chaos program, you're also going to get a full year of access to our Simple Nutrition programs that help you shift your mindset around food, because mindset plays a big role in everything. That the diet culture, the narrative around like what's good, what's bad, like we're going to tackle that with you guys and share some pretty incredible recipes. I know that there's a lot of when we have to make like substitutions, we're like, I don't want to do that. We have some recipes that actually like taste delicious. So you get access to all of those. There's meal plans. We help you guys get set up with everything that has to do with that. And the holiday recipes too are huge. There's different cocktail recipes in there as well. So even if you are somebody that does enjoy holiday drinks still, there's some great recipes in there as well to kind of reduce, like sometimes we get that sugar hangover more than anything. So there's some great resources in there. And then you're also going to get a full year access to our workout platform, which we equate to Netflix, which can sometimes sound a little overwhelming. If you're like, I sit down to Netflix and I'm like, I don't even know what I want to watch. It's more in the concept that you could sit down and you can follow a program, like watching a season start to finish. Or if you're somebody that prefers to be sporadic and you're like, I feel like moving my body today, you can plug in and do any workout, just like you could sit down and watch literally any episode of Friends and still get a good laugh. So there's the freedom there. And somebody else had mentioned the option over the holidays to be able to either pack their weights with them or do a workout that doesn't have equipment. And that's one of the best things that we have, is that freedom to bounce around. And your coach is here to help you figure out like, what program could I follow? What workouts can I do? How can I deviate from that like perfect schedule that a lot of us, like we want to see something start to finish. And your coach is going to be here to help guide you on how you can keep that routine in a way that actually fits into your work and your life schedule, especially through the holidays, which are where like the tangible tips come in to help actually keep you guys with your momentum. And remembering that momentum is a different pace. You're walking, you're running, you're sprinting. Momentum is momentum. Movement is movement. And then you also get a couple other little bonuses, just like the shaker bottle. You get a food journal. You're also going to get some containers, which are also super helpful for just like packing snacks. I use my veggie container to keep in my car. I snack on the drive home every day, and it's like the perfect thing to tie me over. So I'm not hangry by the time I get home to cook dinner. So you guys are going to get all of this. And I really want to highlight that you get a full year of access. And sometimes we're like, I want to be able to start perfectly. You have an entire year. And I think a lot of us are like, we don't look at Netflix and be like, I have to watch it every single day or I'm not getting my money's worth, right? And we pay for that monthly. So you get this for an entire year. And if this month is a little rocky, you still have another 11 months of access. So I just really want to drive that like full year of access home. And to get all of these things separately is $489. That's US. In Canadian, I don't remember what that works out to, but so what we want to be able to do for you guys, because $489, like I said, if I'm eyeing up the $500 air fryer at Canadian Tire, I know nobody else is going to buy it for me, but 500 is a bit of a stretch over the holidays. And we bundle everything together for you guys. And when we bundle, we're able to drop that price down to $219. Again, this is an American pricing. This price also includes a year access to our new interactive platform, which is incredible for having the flexibility through the holidays, because you can plug and play into literally anything at any time. And if you're somebody that feels like you have to follow a program, this may be the thing that's beneficial for you through the holidays, because it is a free float. So any day that you press play on 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, you're doing it, right? But on top of that, like, you guys donated some of your Saturday morning to us, which is super special and very valuable. I know for some of you it was early, it was 8 a.m. PST. It's hard to get out of bed early on a Saturday sometimes. I think Christina mentioned having a kid keeping her up all night. So every coach that invited you this weekend has a discount code just for you. I do know that it's $20 off in the States. I know it's $24 off for us. But we want to be able to make this as affordable as possible for you guys. And I can't drive this home enough that this is for an entire year of access. This is literally the same cost in Netflix. If you look at what Netflix costs over the year, we're bringing it all the way down for you guys as much as we possibly can, because we know that if things are too cheap, we don't take it seriously, do we? Sometimes we do free things and they change our life for maybe an hour, maybe the day, but they don't always carry forward. So putting a little bit of skin in the game, and that's what we want to be able to do for you guys. Yes, skin in the game. And then for anybody that signs up today, so you have this wonderful opportunity. Every coach on this call also has some incredible resources from our mentorship program to be able to offer one-on-one coaching to actually help you understand, like, what is the hurdle that stands in the way? Like, what is it that prevents you from pressing play on a workout while you're traveling? What contributes to the all or nothing mentality? And it's kind of the same as, like, we see it as like an onion. Like, all we see is the outer layer. We're like, oh, well, I don't have time. That's what we kind of view as contributes to it. And what somebody would get if they sign up today, you're going to get 45 minutes of somebody sitting down and just like peeling back the onion until we find, like, what is the root of that cause? What is the root of that problem? So that you can move through the holidays with a positive mindset and feeling good about your choices. And that anybody that signs up this month is also going to get 50% off of Sure Thing, which launches on December 6th, I believe is what it is. So then you're just getting, like, even that much more savings. And I think that now I'm passing it off to Trisha, and I have to find you on here. Where are we at? How to join is to reach out to the coach that invited you today as well. And if a friend invited you in, ask them who their coach was, because we did do a little bit of a tag party in the group. But I want to bring Trisha on to talk to you guys a little bit about growing through the challenge of change. Where are you? There you are. Hi, friend.
Hello. So yes, I want to talk to you guys about growth through the challenge of change. Like the fellow coaches on here with me have said, the next 6 weeks can be total chaos, and you get to choose that for yourself. When life gets busy, you tend to let yourself and your priorities and everything else go first because you've got to be there for somebody else. But I want to challenge you here. Okay, just go with me on this. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to look at your goals for Christmas morning. What do they look like? I mean, really visualize them. The sights, the sounds, how you feel: grateful, energetic, successful, rested. And guess what? You did this on your terms, how you need it to fit in your life right now for these next 6 weeks. Okay, you can open your eyes. Our mind is a powerful tool. It can keep us safe in dangerous situations, but it also can keep us stuck from taking the steps forward that we need to make the changes to see that we want in our lives. So let's work on what we can make this holiday look different like. You know, we can be aware, we can be conscious about what each of us wants to accomplish, and they're going to look different for everybody. But that is your holiday success, and you get to make that be yours. This past year for myself personally has been a huge, just nothing but change for me. Big, scary shit. And there's honestly been times that I've just wanted to sit and throw up, but I felt so tired of being stuck where I was at and just not moving forward in areas of my life. I mean, a lot of different areas, not just the health and nutrition, the mindset, and just what I am as a person and what I would desire out of this life. And probably the hardest realization of all that was simply that I didn't have control over a lot of things that, quite honestly, I should have. And that was hard to admit to myself. And I knew what I needed. I simply wasn't doing it. And I took a leap of faith. I went to a retreat that was hosted by one of my mentors last summer. And let me just say that was the best decision I made this entire year. Those 2 days opened doors in my life that I never even dreamt I could walk through, let alone like open the door and peek in. Yeah, I don't know, but I did. And Chris, my mentor, he was always challenging us to grow. And with his coaching, I was able to see that I was the one holding myself back. It wasn't anybody else around me. It was me. It was 100% in my control. And I was the one that was not willing to open that door and take a step into it. And don't misunderstand me. Change is hard. We all know that, but it is something that we can do with help, with coaching, and with just this one simple thing, giving ourselves permission to say yes to ourselves, to say yes to the things that we want and desire in our lives, to be better for every single person that we have in our life. And to find that faith to not wait for the right time or the right moment. Because come on, let's be honest, there's never a perfect time for anything. You just got to open that door and you got to peek through. And life has a funny way of working for you if you let it. You have to let yourself start now. And then look at how much further you're going to be come Christmas Day. You're going to be maybe a foot. That's okay. Maybe it's a mile. Maybe it's a whole damn city block. But you get to choose. That is the complete best part of all this. You get to choose to say yes to yourself, and you get to choose what this looks like for you over the next 6 weeks. You can work out 3 days a week. You can work out 5 days a week. You get to say yes, eating the whole piece of pie, no matter what size it is. Or if you're like me, you just take a bite of your husband's and you call it good. But you get to grow at your pace for you. Now, again, think about these next few weeks and how you can allow yourself to grow and make 1 change, 5 changes. It doesn't matter. But how will that look for you on Christmas Day when you show up? Go back to that thing that you saw in your head, that picture, that visualization. So I challenge you today to give yourself permission to grow through this holiday season and make the changes that you want for yourself. You have amazing sets of coaches here. And I've so enjoyed working with these ladies over the past few weeks on this. And they're going to get you moving in the direction that you need to get started for you. And we look forward completely to joining us on this journey. Thank you, guys.
I want to just take a minute to say thank you to everybody for popping on this morning, taking your time. And I have to say a big thank you to these wonderful coaches that said yes to working on this with me, because it's not always easy to collaborate on things, just with lining up schedules in different time zones. So I do appreciate you ladies for joining in this with me. I hope you all have an amazing day. We'll have the recording available for this as well. So if you have a friend that you think would really need to listen to this message, if you know that they struggle with all or nothing, get them to sit down and watch it with you. You can also reach out to your coach to get the sample link so that you can share it as well. yes, we'll make sure we drop everybody's Instagrams in the Facebook event. And then that way everybody has it. I can drop it here quick. Does anybody have any questions really quick? Yes, thank you, Trisha. That was a good reminder. Just hop off and leave you all hanging. I can change the settings so people can unmute. So you can just unmute yourself if you have a question, or you could pop it in the chat thread.
Hey there, I just wanted to say, well, I'm sorry, my picture is not working. My camera's all screwed up. Nicola is someone who I've been friends with for a very long time, and we do a lot of coaching things together. And I'll tell you, this whole group, this whole thing, I'm like blowing up in my head. It's amazing. And you guys put so much value into this and just real life tips, and it's awesome. And what we have and what you guys are offering is unmatched. And anybody that's on here that's new needs to step in and do the thing.
Thank you. If everybody else is good, I will let you get on with your weekend. Thank you so much again for hopping on. And